Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in, watching the video. Hope everybody's doing well. So today we're going to continue our talks with inequalities. Before I get into it, you should double check that your short answer was turned in. If you're not sure, um, you should have received it back at this point. So if you didn't get it back, there's a good chance I haven't seen it. Most people, I posted their test grade on Class Dojo, so check there first. If you don't have a response or you're just not sure, um, you can always ask me on Class Dojo. Remember, that's the quickest way to contact me. But without further ado, I want to get right into today's assignment. This is definitely review. I believe we talked about it earlier in the year even, but we are going to take this a little bit further this week. It's just today we're going to start off a little bit simpler, just because if we don't know the basics, it's going to be hard to do tougher problems. So first off, I want to talk about with inequalities. When we're doing graphs like these, we're trying to show all of the solutions for x, everything that works. So there's a couple rules that we're going to need, and you can also watch me. You can also see how to do it on the IXL. But we know that x is greater than or equal to 2. So first we want to find out where we should start. Well, we know 2 will work, right? Because 2 is equal to 2. And we have that bar underneath. So that means 2 will work. So let's start there. If you click it again, you can do an open circle, but we don't want that here. We want a closed circle since we have that bar underneath. We're actually including this point, so we want a closed circle. And we'll see some examples where you would use an open circle, but we're not quite there yet. Now, for the next step here, and really the last step, you have to decide which way we should create our array on the number line. So we need to think about what are the solutions for x, what works for this. And hopefully you should be thinking, well, it's obvious, anything bigger than 2. So we need to look at the number line, and we need to look for where the numbers are bigger than 2. Well, we know that's in this direction, right? So you're going to want to click there, but you don't want to do this, right? Because when you have these 2 points, that's basically suggesting that this is stopping, right? If we kept going, those numbers wouldn't count the way we graphed it. So you need to be careful. If you click in the middle, you'll delete it. So we're going to start off here because we know it's greater than or equal to 2, and then we're going to click the arrow here at the end, and now this creates array, and this shows that everything bigger, even if it's not on the number line, will work for this inequality. And then from there, you just submit. Alright, so now we have a different type of example here. We need to graph x is greater than 1, but x has to be bigger than 1. It is not allowed to be equal, because we don't have that bar underneath. So again, we know it's bigger than 1, so that's where we're going to want to start. But we're not actually including this point. We're leaving this point out. So we're going to use an open circle to show that. Because we know like 1.1 or 1.01, 1.2, all those numbers work, but not 1 itself. Or actually, that was right. So now we need to think about which direction we want to put our array on the number line. So we think about which direction shows numbers that are bigger than 1. Well, numbers that are bigger than 1, greater than 1, are in this direction. So again, make sure you click on the arrow here, and that's it. So again, there's no bar underneath. We are looking for numbers greater than 6. So we click here. We don't want a closed circle because there's no bar here. So we click it again. Right? 6 wouldn't work, so we leave it open. And then we know the numbers that are bigger than 6 are in this direction. Right? 7's bigger than 6. 8's bigger than 6. So these will work. These ones won't work. Right? 4 is not bigger than 6. So the graph doesn't show these. It only shows the ones that work, the solutions. Alright, let's see if there's anything too much trickier with this. It should all be kind of the same thing. It's going to make me do it. So we need numbers that are greater than or equal to 4. Well, numbers that are greater than or equal to 4 are in this direction. We use a closed circle because 4 is equal to 4, so we're actually counting that point. And that's all you do. Alright, what about x is less than 10? So 10 won't work. Right? 10 wouldn't work because there's no bar. Click it again. So now it's not counting this actual point here at 10, but it is counting everything right next to it. Right? So all these numbers here would still be smaller than 10, but 10 itself wouldn't work. That's like the limit, the maximum. So we want to show all the numbers that work for this. Well, we know 8's less than 10, 6 is less than 10, 4 is less than 10, 2 is less than 10, 0 is less than 10, and if you kept going, -1 would be less than 10, -2, and so on and so forth. All the numbers over here, all of these numbers here are less than 10. So that's why we graph it like that. Okay, same idea. X is greater than -1, so we want to show that. Again, there's no bar there, so that means we do a open circle, right? Since it's not there, we want to show numbers that are greater than -1. Well, -2 is smaller than -1, right? Remember, with negative numbers, this -8 is smaller than -2, right? And if you kept going, all these numbers just get smaller and smaller. So actually, none of these are going to work over here to the left of our circle. But the numbers that will work are to the right of it. We don't really see them, but we know that the numbers get bigger to the right. So we just click the arrow there. That's it. Okay, it's the same idea. It doesn't matter if the numbers are bigger. X is greater than or equal to 400. Again, there's a bar there now, so we do a closed circle because we're counting this point. This would work. And now we need to think about the direction. X is greater than 400, so that means our graph needs to show all the numbers greater than or equal to 400. So we go ahead. We need to show all of these. Remember, you don't want to do that though. We want to click on the arrow. And at this point, everything should be relatively similar here. I don't think you're going to see much more. Even if you throw in decimals, fractions, it doesn't really change anything. So it's the same idea. Again, today is just kind of review because we're going to be kind of solving inequalities with like one-step and two-step, multi-step type of inequalities like we did last week. Just the only difference is now we aren't working with an equal sign. And you're going to see that it's not all that much different, but we'll get to that. So that's all I have for you guys today. Hopefully you find today a little easier than yesterday's. But yeah, this stuff is important. You need to know how to do it. So thank you for tuning in. Please take care and have a great day.